The Canadian federal bureaucracy used to be stellar, known worldwide, and if somebody at senior position said, "We will deal with this," most people agreed and they said they would deal with it. Now that's changed. Before we get into that with Jay Goldberg, please donate to keep these shows on the air so we can keep informing people what's going on, because you're not going to hear it from the PMO paid media. Jay Goldberg is with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation. And it just seems that aside from all the crazy spending, you've talked about that in other shows, the crazy bonuses that most average people would just love to have the salary instead of the bonus, we aren't getting value for the money. In other words, money is going out all over Ottawa, and people are saying, well, what do we get for that?
Well, I think a lot of people are asking, the Trudeau government has hired about 140,000 new bureaucrats since they got into office. That's about a 40% increase. And I think a lot of folks are asking, are we getting better services out of Ottawa than we were 9 years ago? And I think most people would say no and ask what these extra 140,000 people are doing.
Well, some of them, though, are going to be thwarting Liberty. In other words, from the Online Harm Act, when they have that through and they set up the bureaucracies to review every show such as this and phone in the morning and say, oh, you got to take it off. I mean, that is an authoritarian government saying we are clamping down on people.
Yeah, it's not just the concern about how much are we paying these folks, it's what are they doing. We know in some cases they're not doing much, in some cases they're doing things that are very scary. And we don't want our government to be censoring what we can listen to, what we can say, what we can watch. And that's the road the Trudeau government has been going down with Bill C-11, the online harm stuff. I mean, look, there's certainly certain things that we want the police to be looking into if there's genuine harm, things like that.
Oh, of course.
But we do not need a super bureaucracy. And by the way, it's attached to the Ministry of Heritage. Does anybody really think that that is where you're going to catch some sort of crime that's going on? No. If there's actually something dangerous going on, you want the cops involved. You don't want bureaucrats from the Ministry of Heritage involved.
But also just value for your money when you deal with icebreakers in the north. Yeah. And they start off, they say, well, this is going to be $500 million. And within a year, it's up to $1.5 billion. I mean, but people are just... There's no value for your money.
There's no value for money. You think of the soaring money we're spending on healthcare, education. Everybody says the systems are in disrepair. Politicians' answer to everything seems to just be spend more, spend more, spend more. We have no creative solutions beyond that, and we're just not getting the results. And the result of that is higher taxes and more debt.
Well, we need the higher taxes and more debt to pay for the mistakes the government's doing because they don't want to admit that
they don't want to admit.
Mistakes.
Just look at the Eglinton Crosstown LRT as an example here in Ontario. I was in undergraduate university when they started.
And you're an old man now.
Forever ago, I have kids, I'm married, it's still going. They won't tell us the end date yet. It's a big secret. I mean, what's going on here? What kind of incompetence do we have at all levels of government?
And there's cases like that across Canada.
And no one gets fired. And no one gets fired.
It's a matter of having some accountability, I think. But maybe we'll have an opportunity to have an election. What do you think? An election?
I think you need accountability at an election, and then after the election, you need accountability for everybody in their ivory towers who have been making these decisions and pushing them through.
You are right. Jay, thank you very much. 3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago, we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.